cooperative. And before I forget, I'm going to dovetail on two things that have come up so far. One is, Sarah, Lane Electric is part of the COAD, and I'm the person that sits in on that. So there's not direct representation up here, but I can be a conduit. And I'm also on the board of the McKenzie Valley Long-Term Recovery Group, so I plug into that team as well. And two other things actually. One thing came up with the Oregon State Fire Marshal. We are going to have Kelsey from that office at our annual meeting, which is on July 12th at 10 o'clock at Churchill High School in West Eugene. So we have a few community partners that are going to be there. One is Kelsey, and then another one is I had just had a conversation with Firewise. So we'll see if Connor can come to that as well. So we'll have some resources there if anyone wants to have a conversation at that point. So I'm going to go back and tell you what Lane Electric is doing. So obviously things are heating up right now. We are putting our system into wildfire safety settings right now. We're going to do that kind of it's going to take place over a couple weeks as our linemen have to go out and change settings on the ground. We don't have a system where we can do it remotely like other Web or some of those guys. But that's going to be happening. So that means that our lines are on high sensitivity. When lines are in high sensitivity, it's that kind of thing in the winter. You have a storm, your lights might flicker 3 times. That's something coming into contact and our line's trying to clear it. When we go to high sensitivity, something will come into contact with the line immediately de-energizes. It will not re-energize until we re-energize it. That requires boots on the ground, and we have to control everything before we can re-energize. So that does lead to more intermittent outages and a little bit more time to get the power back on. So this is really the time when you should be prepared for some small outages. We will be re-energizing in most of those scenarios, unless it's potentially a red flag day and we make a decision to not. If that was going to be the case, we would send out an alert to everybody. And this is where I'll pivot just a bit from Tiffany, and that we want to have as much contact information for you as you can, because we'll send out call alerts, we might text people, so it's good for us to have as much information as possible to get those messages out. When we did a PSPS a few years ago, I've been here for 3 years. We did that event in 2022 over Labor Day. I know we sent out an alert, and one of the cell towers up here was down that day when we sent that out. So some people didn't get it. So we want to make sure that whatever we do, we are getting that message out. When we do have these days that are high risk, red flag, which means low humidity, high wind, high heat, in those events, we are going to also keep our servicemen up in their territory. So I know a lot of people up here know Herb Anderson. Herb will stay up here to tend to lines. So if things are going down, he and potentially some other crew members might be up here responding to those sort of things. We know how important it is for you all to have water in these events as well. So those are some things that we're working on. We're also upgrading our systems to make them a little more nimble so that we might be able to keep certain parts of our system on and to keep core areas on and for people evacuating so that there's gas stations and things like that. One other thing is I'll also say that all of the utilities, there's 6 utilities here in our territory, and all of us have been working really tightly together. We've had a couple of utility meetings to share what everybody's doing and really coordinate our language so that we are kind of all speaking in terms that kind of can mean the same thing across the utilities, because we are all basically doing the same thing, which is taking our sensitivity up really high, both at the line level and then at the substations when we get to bigger events. So that's some of the things that we're doing. We also do have a lot of information out, particularly on, I know one of the confusing things for people has over the years been what we do in the event of, there's NOAA, we use NOAA's language for fire events, so they typically have a fire weather watch, a red flag warning, and then we were notified at the utility meeting that there's another level that they're going to be using, and which is called a particularly dangerous situation.
Perfect.
I didn't.
Just rolls off the
Yeah,
tongue.
I think someone at Bletchley Lane thought it sounded like something out of Lemony Snicket, but that is what they're using, PDS, which means that it's a really, you're in danger. So if that alert comes through from NOAA, that is one that we want everybody to take heed of. So we always tell people to sign up for lane alerts. Sign up for alerts from NOAA, because a lot of times we get questions from people saying, you know, the weather's predicted to be really hot or really windy. Do you guys have any plans to shut off power? We're taking those leads from NOAA and then from our on the ground situations that our linemen and people are seeing out in the field. So the best way for you to stay informed of that is to keep a watch on weather, and then sign up. Make sure you have your information on file, so you have a lot of ways to get hold of you. With that, what questions, if any, do you want?
If we need to update our information, how would we do that?
There's a form on the website. You can call the office. Yep. So either one of those will work great. And I'm happy to give you a card of mine too, and we'll make sure that we get that updated for you.
So, forgive me, is there two different alert systems? I mean, if you're signing up for the lane alert, you're also gonna get the electric alert?
Different.
It is different.
That's where we want, cause we're not gonna tell you when there's an evacuation or things like that. We're just gonna let you know that, we might be turning power off, or that, there's, something in that realm that you need to know. So yeah, we just wanna make sure that there's two different things. Cause again, when, we first filed our wildfire mitigation plan in 2022, when those became required at the state level, and that year in particular, when we would say, hey, there's a weather warning coming out, a lot of people, there's been fires here and also in Oak Ridge where we serve, people were getting confused that we were sending something out that that there was an alert of an evacuation or something. So we want to be very clear about keeping a bit of a distance between our messaging. But on that note, we do, when those events happen, there are operators calls for everybody involved. Typically, Tiffany's team run, and we're involved with the fire department. Everyone's kind of speaking the same language there. We usually have our foreman and our operations manager will be in contact with the fire command as well, so we can respond whenever what needs they have.
So, you're from Lane Electric, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what about E-Web? Are they the same? Because I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, they're very similar operation. They are doing the same thing in terms of line sensitivity and changing things at the substation level. They will. I know they have an alert system as well, so they would tell the same thing and just make sure you're up to date there. And they do also have a lot of information on their website about how they're operating. And we do talk, again, we speak very closely, particularly with E-Web, since we are both serving this area. So, yeah. Yep. Oh, sorry. Yep.
Has there been any more forward movement on talk about undergrounding any of the line work?
Yeah, some of that is, so we were awarded a grant. We are waiting for the funds to be actually given to us. So when that is handed to us, we will be able to take on that work. We have done a design for it, so that's really all that we're waiting on right now. We were hoping to have broken ground in, I think it was March, but again, the funding hasn't come to us directly yet.
Do you know approximately where that would start and then where it would?
I believe it picks up, I would have to double check this, and I can give you my card and I can follow up. I believe it's down at, the Doris, at that park. Yes, right there. And
Can
then
you
it
speak
goes-
up, April?
Oh,
And we don't know what the question is.
Yeah, could you repeat the question?
Underground.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thanks.
the question was, when will we begin undergrounding, if that project is moving forward, and where does that happen? And the short answer is we were awarded funds in terms of you should receive funds, but we do not have those funds at this point in time. So we cannot break ground on that project until we have that. We had hoped it was gonna be this spring that we were gonna start, but we have not been able to do that yet. And I believe it starts on the very would it be the very like west end of our system and goes a few miles upriver, but I can follow up on that.
Okay, and I have a second half to that question. Will Maine Electric then be offering any incentive for homeowners to run underground the line then from the pole to home?
It's a great question. We don't, so the question was, will Lane Electric have any incentive for homeowners to underground lines to their home? We don't have a program for that yet, but I can ask our ops manager, we can have a conversation about that and get back to you. It's a great question, so. I'll be here too if anyone has questions, and I appreciate the opportunity.